What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Liquid Trucking Podcast. I am your host, Marcus. Thank you so much for being here today. This is an exciting episode. I've got to get the homework out of the way right away because the interview went really long, which means that we're already running late, which just seems to be the way that I've been doing it for the last, 8 or 10 weeks. I have a really good conversation with a bunch of drivers. We talk for too long, and then I don't have a lot of time to get to stuff in the before and after the interview segments. So I'm going to shut my mouth, stop explaining the problem that I currently have, and start trying to solve it. We need you to go over, check out liquidtrucking.com. That's where you can find, right up at the top of the page, a banner that says find out about our new podcast. You click the learn more. It takes you to our podcast landing page. Voila. You've got all of the episodes there. You've got information about each episode, what guests are coming on, what we're talking about. You can listen to every single one of them there. And still up there right now, we've got the road art section where drivers have shared pictures of some of their tattoos with us. There's some crazy work in there. So go check that out. That is your podcast landing page. It's there for all things podcast. And it's a really great website. We're going to update it soon. I've been hearing some whispers about maybe a 2.0 version. It's going to be a little bit because that type of stuff takes time, but we've got some talented people to put on it. So just go check out the website as it sits right now. It's a very functional piece of information that plays into this podcast. And to be honest with you, it's where about 80% of you guys listen. So great stuff there. Check it out, liquidtrucking.com. If you want to send me an email, I'm always taking suggestions, and I really want to hammer it home. Just because every now and then I'll kind of do like a push where I'll come to you guys and say, hey, I need suggestions. Who wants suggestions? Who wants Drive for Gold points? That doesn't mean that I'm only taking suggestions then. My inbox is always open. Podcast at liquidtrucking.com. I will take suggestions from you if we get to it and we actually do a segment or we do an episode with the suggestion that you provided. I will get you 250 Drive for Gold points. If any of you suggested an episode and you haven't received your points for any reason, go ahead and reach out. We had that happen. It was just an oversight. I forgot to send the email, and that driver reached out and was like, bro, where's my points? And I think it was like a day or two later we had his points for him. So we want to give back. Anything that you guys give to us, we want to return in the way that we can, which is Drive for Gold points, which it's pretty cool because I know a lot of drivers get a lot of cool stuff with those points, very functional items and things that help them along with their day-to-day. So send in a suggestion if you want us to talk about something, if you want to come on and talk about something. Just because I'm the host doesn't mean that I can't set you up and let you run with something if there's a good topic that you want to bring up here. We'll get more drivers in to discuss it. We can get management on the show if we need to. It's wide open. So send me your suggestions once more, podcast at liquidtrucking.com. Or if you have my personal phone number, if you've been on this podcast before, it's the one I called you from, just shoot me a text message or give me a call and we'll get your suggestion recorded. Okay. Today's episode is interesting, and this will get explained as we go through a little bit more, but recently you guys had a daily text come in from management, and you guys see these daily texts every day, and when you send them a response, you get a few Drive for Gold points, right? It's just making sure that you're listening, you're checking these messages, making sure you're getting all the important information. A lot of these have to do with safety and those types of things, so it's a really cool way that you guys can score some Drive for Gold points pretty easy. But the cool part about this particular one was I don't remember what the text message was that the company sent out to you guys, but they asked you to reply with your favorite movie. And as I started seeing these movies come in, the first thing I noticed when I was watching the inbox is none of these are the same. Every single person has a different favorite movie with the exception of just a few of them. And there were some obscure ones that showed up here. I was really surprised to see Shrek show up on the favorite movie list of a bunch of truck drivers. It was not something that, there's a few of them on here, and we'll get to them a little bit later on. But what I've got here is 3 drivers that are coming on to join me to just have a little bit of a roundtable discussion. I'm going to find out what their favorite movies are. I'm going to find out what they like and what they don't. Why is it that they watch a movie? Everybody puts in a movie for a different reason. Maybe you put it in because you've got an hour and a half to kill and nothing to do and you just want noise and pictures. Maybe you put it in because you like the emotion that a real good movie can drag out of you. Maybe you put it in because you're some type of psychopath that wants to watch horror movies and get scared and have bad dreams. That's my wife. I love her to death, and she'll be down there watching people get sawed in half from the bottom up with a chainsaw with a smile on her face. And she's not an unhinged human, okay? But I get it. I know that everybody watches movies for a different reason, and that's why I was so excited to get these drivers on and have this conversation. This one's just a fun one. There's no thinly veiled, message or anything like that behind this podcast. This is just, we are going to talk movies, and it's a really fun conversation. As I said, it ran long, so you're going to get a little bit of bonus material here out of me. Please enjoy my movie conversation with Mikal Duncan, Jay Defoor, and Matt MacKellar. Here it is.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
Welcome back into the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Very excited for our next guests that are joining me. Of course, this is our driver segment, and the drivers were the entire reason that this podcast happened, which obviously that's the case for most of them, but this one was a lot of fun. I explained it a little bit in the open, but just in case you tune that part out because there's no drivers on board with me yet, and I would totally understand that, this podcast segment came about because every day the management at Liquid, of course, you guys know this, you guys get them. They send out a text message to the entire staff of drivers, and the drivers answer back, and they get daily Drive for Gold points. Well, recently, one of the requests to reply was, if you read this message, reply with your favorite movie. And I started seeing the movies come in, and first of all, the variety was just mind-blowing. And second, I thought, hey, this is good stuff. I'm going to record all these. I'm going to take them down on a list, and then I'm going to get drivers in here and have a little round table about movies. And that's what's going on right now. Joining me as we speak is Liquid driver Mikal Duncan. What's up, Donut? How you doing out there, man?
Not too bad. Been stuck at the yard all day, but otherwise great.
Stuck at the yard all day. Well, they got something for you at least coming in later today, early tomorrow. What's it looking like?
Early tomorrow, I'm rolling out.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Also joining us today is Matt MacKellar, who was just out adjusting a fifth wheel. Matt, I hope the day is looking up for you, man, because you did sound a little flustered when I got you on the phone earlier.
Yeah, I'm repowering a load, meaning picking up a loaded trailer from somebody else that they loaded with 48,600 pounds of product. So I weighed in at exactly 80,000 pounds, on the nose, but my trailer axles were too heavy. So I just spent the last hour and a half trying to get my fifth wheel to slide. So I got some blisters and some nice fifth wheel grease on me to beautify myself, I guess, but got it done.
You forget about all those trucker health and beauty secrets, man. There's a lot of them that you guys have out there, and I guess I didn't know about axle grease, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's really helpful. All I can say is thank goodness for flatbedders. When I was having some trouble and got stuck, I went and found a flatbedder, and he had a tool and some advice that was helpful for me. Flatbedders are usually practical guys.
Awesome. Well, shout out to all the flatbedders out there listening to this podcast. I know there's got to be some of them because, Liquid doesn't have as many trucks as we get listens every week. So I got to figure there's some flatbedders out there, and that probably makes them happy to hear, Matt. Thanks for joining us today. Also on the line, I've got somebody making, I'm pretty sure, their first appearance on the podcast here. He said he goes by Jay, JJ, Big J, Jason. It really doesn't matter. Just don't call him late for dinner. Please welcome to the show, Jay Defoor. Jay, thanks for joining us, man. How you doing out there?
No problem.
So let's just jump in while we know we've got some good service with you, because you and I both found out something about each other today, and that is that we are both native Oregonians. You don't get very many calls from the 541 area code, but you got one today from me, man. So tell me about when you lived in Oregon and how you ended up out in Nebraska.
So let me go back a little further. I actually grew up in Crescent City, California. So I might as well have been an Oregonian at that point.
Okay. Yeah. Northern California, right?
Extreme, yeah. You don't get much more northern than that town.
Yep.
So I met my wife. We got married. We finally got out of Dodge like 15 years later, finally moved out, got up into Grants Pass, Oregon. And don't get me wrong, it's beautiful there. I absolutely miss the mountains. I miss my rivers. I miss Oregon in a big way. Even the coastline, like all of it, it's gorgeous. The reason why we moved out here to the Midwest is because, well, one, cheaper cost of living, at least at the time it was.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I was able, because I was driving for Hirschbach at the time, I was able to get home a lot more and a lot easier than I was being out in Oregon.
Okay. Makes sense. Well,
yeah.
We miss you out here too, man. I mean, it is a beautiful state, and I know that, living out in Nebraska, how many miles is it to the nearest mountain? Do you guys have to go all the way to Colorado to see that thing?
Pretty much. I would say the closest, what I would consider a mountain, the closest one would be Eisenhower, in all honesty.
Okay. All right. Well,
and that's, yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, if you've listened to the podcast at all before. Are you an Oregon Duck fan? That's the biggest question I'm concerned about right now.
I am actually not a foosball fan.
Okay. What about basketball?
Nope. The major sports I really don't get into. Like I'll bring up like rallycross, gymkhana on YouTube.
Okay.
And watch the highlights from that stuff. But I mean, as far as like American sports are concerned in general, like I can't tell you how many times I've been invited to a party and I'm sitting on the floor. Next thing I know, I'm waking up and the game's over.
Okay, so just one of those nap-taking sports for you.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Okay.
Now, hockey, on the other hand, is actually pretty exciting. I can actually get behind that one.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a new hockey fan working for you. We talked to him last week. That's Jake Debo. Used to work in minor league hockey. Big hockey fan. He's a St. Louis Blues guy, which gets under my skin a little bit as a Red Wings fan. But nobody's perfect, so I get it. But
right.
But yeah, and that makes me interested. One more question about Oregon before we actually get into what we're here to talk about today. But if you're into gymkhana and stuff like that, I have to wonder if you ever made it out to the sand dunes in Florence or maybe out there in Christmas Valley, a little closer to you in Grants Pass. Are you a dirt bike rider, four-wheelers, anything like that? Did you ever get to go check out some of the sand dunes?
So actually, I went in one of the buggies from Coos Bay, actually.
Oh, okay, yep.
There's a set of dunes out there called spin reels, and the rental place is literally right across from the entrance from the dunes, and that's actually a blast to go out there and be able to play on the sand. Not only play on the sand dunes, but be able to take your buggy and go riding out on the beach and through the water, and yeah, it's fun. It is.
It's a lot of fun, and I also tried something out there that I've never seen anywhere else. I mean, I know I've seen it on YouTube and stuff, but I tried sandboarding out there. And it's actually really fun, aside from the fact that it gets everywhere. Like that was 15 years ago. I'm still picking sand, man. It's crazy. But yeah, it's good to have another Oregon boy on here. And Matt and Michael, I want to thank you guys for your patience. I wanted to take a minute to get to know Jay a little bit since it's his first time. But welcome to the show, Jay. Appreciate you being here, especially because you're another Oregon boy. We got to protect our own out here. It's you, me, and Quincy Rich. We're the only Oregon boys out here, I think, working for Liquid right now. But if there's more, we'll root them out and we'll find them. Maybe just give you like an Oregon geology podcast one of these days where we can talk about all of our favorite places to look at. Yeah. It'd be fun for you and me and Quincy. I don't know if anybody else would care.
well, one more note on a side topic. I can't believe how much snow fell at Crater Lake this year. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Crater Lake actually.
What was it, 189 inches or 180 something inches? Of snow.
Yep. And they're closing Crater Lake to recreationalists for the next 2 years. I don't know.
Is it because of the snow, or did they say why?
I think it might be the algae. I think they might have some blue algae moving in there that they're worried about. So, yeah, gotcha. People can get really sick on that shit. So, all right.
Yeah.
As much as I could sit here and talk about Oregon all day, and trust me, I can. Let's get into this list of movies here a little bit, fellas. First and foremost, let's start over with Mikal Donut Duncan, because when you got back to me. Donut, you had told me that your favorite movie was one of the ones that I mentioned when I sent you guys a list. Now, the
Yes,
funny
it was.
part about that is I tried to pick some more obscure movies off of this list to send to you guys in hopes that it would kind of widen the net of people that wanted to come on and talk about this. So let's just dive in right now. I want to find out what each one of your guys' favorite movies are. And Duncan, we'll start with you.
Oh, I want you to guess from the list.
You want me to guess? Okay, all right. I'm going to start off with the one that I was completely blown away that showed up on this list. And listen, it doesn't mean it's a bad movie. My opinion, and 50 cents won't buy you a hot cup of coffee. So remember that before I say that I'm wondering if your favorite movie is P.S. I Love You.
You are dead on.
I got it! Hell yeah! Why?
Okay. First off, Gerard Butler, amazing actor.
Okay, can confirm.
He's usually in action movies or action romance movies. That was just all romance, and he called it home.
Okay, because I'm a huge law-abiding citizen fan. Okay, that movie.
Oh yeah,
is one of my favorites up there. It's like one of those kind of classics that anytime it's on, I'm watching it. So I get the Gerard Butler love. I just don't know if I get the Gerard Butler in love. Like, does he play a pretty good lover?
Well, I didn't get too into that. He did stab himself in the eye with rainbow suspenders, so there's that.
Okay, so a little bit of comedy in there too. I see. This guy's got range.
Yeah, I love everything. I love everything about the movie. It's one of those lost loves, love of your life, and then he passes away. That's no secret, no spoiler for anyone. And the whole movie is about how he knew he was dying, and he prepared for his death, leaving his wife all these letters and shit that were sent to him by somebody. Nobody knows who. You will if you watch the movie. And it just leads her on this journey so that she'll continue living because she built her life around him.
Okay.
And he wanted her to keep going. And I love that.
See, and that's kind of
I'm happy.
We're getting into one of the reasons that I wanted to have this conversation is because a lot of times I think the reason that movies are like good movies are so subjective is because some people want different things out of watching a movie. I, as a young kid, huge dog person, a huge dog lover, had dogs all my life, always loved dogs. First time I ever saw Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks.
I love Turner and Hooch.
Cried for
this is not your room.
Dude, cried for like 2 hours after that movie while my mom tried unsuccessfully to teach me that dogs don't really die in movies. They just are acting like the people, but couldn't comprehend it. And what I realized back then and now, too, is that was uncomfortable for me. Some people like to have their emotions move to tears when they're watching a movie. That's not really what I'm here for. I'm also, we've talked about horror movies on this podcast before. I'm not your guy. I don't want to be scared. I would like to sit here and feel happy about this experience. So, but do you, is it a bring you to tears movie every time you watch it, Donut?
Every time. I've watched it hundreds of times. Every time.
You're just a glutton for punishment, man. You want this.
Yeah. I laugh at horror movies, cry at rom-coms. It's weird, but it is what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, very interesting. I think that we'll probably touch on that a little bit more as this conversation goes on. But here's what I will say, okay? Because as I put this list together, one of the reasons that I left your guys' names off of it and didn't attach names to movies is because I didn't want anybody to feel personally slighted by the fact that I might say some off-the-wall things about your favorite movie. I say off-the-wall things about everything. So, but also, like, I saw P.S. I Love You, and this is actually the one that made me have this realization, Donut, is it was so out of the norm for all the other movies that were coming through. My worry was that you were going to have, like, a really sad memory or story attached to it that was like, it was important to you for this reason. Maybe it was the last movie you watched with a loved one, or they passed away, or maybe, you saw it when you were a kid at a real trying time. So just the fact that you think Gerard Butler is a good boyfriend, and that's why you like this movie, I I can't tell you how happy that makes me, because I was really worried that we weren't going to get very many laughs out of this one, and all I've done is laugh since we talked about it. So
there was some sad stuff attached in the beginning. When I first saw it, I watched it with my first wife.
God damn it! Now you're making it sad again. It's supposed to be funny.
We'll get back around, okay? I've been divorced twice. Anyway, so she had thyroid issues, and thyroid cancer and stuff like that was a big worry for us. And when I saw that movie, I was just like, oh my gosh, what if it was me? What if I was the one in her seat? What is she gonna do? And now that she's in her third marriage with her second husband's battle buddy, the guy, she cheated on the guy she cheated on me with, and I'm just like,
Boy,
have fun with that struggle.
That tiger doesn't change its stripes, huh?
No, have fun with that. Have fun with that problem. It's not mine no more.
Got it. Okay, let's go on to Matt. Matt, we got to hear what your favorite movie is. I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, that one of you three is going to have one of our top 3 movies, because there was only 3 movies on the list that were listed more than once. And so we have a solid top 3 here, but I'm interested because Matt's well-traveled. Matt likes to read. I have a feeling Matt's going to surprise me with his favorite movie. What do you got for me, Matt?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little more obscure. I actually just looked back in my text messages to see what I replied, because I thought I might have said Castaway, because that's definitely one of my favorites. But what I said is Thin Red Line. So World War II movie. It's based on a novel. It's kind of a fictionalized retelling of the Battle of Guadalcanal in the Pacific of World War II. And what I like about it is, one, it's a great war movie, and it has like every famous actor in it you could think of, pretty much. I'm terrible with actors' names, but every face that popped up on the screen, I'm like, oh, I know them. But then interspersed between the battle scenes will be these like long, and this is why some people may hate it, these like long panning shots of the scenery with like this voice narrating, kind of contemplating the nature of humanity and evil and violence. And it's like very philosophical, punctuated by these intense battle scenes. So that kind of works for me.
That's quite the juxtaposition there. Because I'm envisioning what you're talking about with the long sweeping shots and the narration.
Yep.
And that sounds like an art house flick to me. It kind of sounds like an art house flick that crashed into like Band of Brothers or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much the size of it. And I was really intrigued. Go ahead.
Even like 9.
Right. Right.
Because if I remember right, 9 was actually done as a school, film school project, and it blossomed into a full, animated length feature film.
Wow.
That was absolutely amazing.
Well, I will say this, Matt. As far as the critics, they agree with you. The Thin Red Line was nominated for 7 Academy Awards in 1999, including Best Picture and Best Director. Didn't take any of those awards home, but 7 nominations in any given year is one hell of a feat. So the critics agree with your pick there, but I will say you're the only driver that brought that movie out.
What can I say? I'm special in many ways. What's interesting about it is after I first saw the movie and it was so philosophical, I'm like, this is based on a book. I bet you the book is terrific, because usually the movie's kind of a simplified, dumbed-down version of the book.
Right.
So I started to read the book. I think it's written by James Jones or somebody. Anyways, none of the philosophical stuff in there. It's all just like plot and action and all that. So it's entirely different than the movie. I assume that was directed by Terrence Malick,
Yep.
who does kind of do this heady stuff. And so I assume that all kind of came from him. So that was interesting, too.
It's so weird to think that a director like him would be reading the book that you're describing and come up with the movie that you're describing. Like how, because when I love spy, like like fiction, I love spy novels and things like that. They're talking about, dudes going dark and all the tactics that they use and all that. I love the constant action and that kind of heart pounding feeling that you get when there's suspense. but never have I thought, man, I would love to see a sweeping shot of a beach right now with narration telling me to calm down. Like it's a very strange juxtaposition, like I said. So an interesting pick. And you said Castaway almost made it. You weren't sure. That's another really good movie. And Tom Hanks, I mean, I love the guy. He's been in so many good ones. But Castaway is also one of those movies that gives you that feeling. I don't think there's been a better movie, at least for me personally, than Castaway to make you feel what lonesomeness is actually like. I mean, you guys compete with it a lot in the job that you do. I'm interested, Matt, were there any feelings that came back from when you're on the road and you get lonely when you're watching Castaway? Is that kind of one of the reasons you like that movie?
Interesting. I guess I like the movie because it's kind of a modern day Robinson Crusoe, which is one of my favorite books. But also just the acting chops of Tom Hanks. I think it's about 40 minutes that there's no dialogue at all. It's just him acting and doing things physically.
Wow.
And yet he still makes it interesting and carries the movie. And it's just so different and capable in that sense.
Yeah, well put. So let me turn the question that I asked Donut to you a little bit. What do you like to get out of a movie viewing experience? Are you looking to have your emotions move to tears? Are you like me and you're just like, give me some popcorn and let me smile? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to experience bad emotions. Like, why do you want to be scared? Why do you want to be sad? Like, these are part of life. I get it, but I'm not going to go searching for them. So, yeah, I want something that is either just enjoyable and fun or will make me think, you know, like some of the movies I mentioned. But yeah, I'm not a glutton for emotional punishment. Life is tough enough, you know?
Gotcha. I gotcha. I love it, man. Well, how about you, Jay? Your favorite movie? Did you reply to this message? Is it on the list? What do you got for me?
I don't know if it's on the list, and if it's the movie I have in my head, it's extremely obscure.
Good. That's great. That's been good for conversation.
And even when it came out, I don't think it was. I mean, I know it wasn't received very well, but as far as it being a known movie, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't go see it in the theater specifically, but when I first saw it, I would say it was on one of those free like movie channel weekends, you know, that come out like once a year or so back in the day. So it's with Dennis Hopper, and so when I say this movie, I want everybody to know that my movies are like my music. Like, I'm a severe eclectic. I just want to be entertained.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so it doesn't matter if it's a sad movie, if it's a rom-com, if it's a chick flick, or a good sci-fi movie. So
now, before you say it, do you guys feel like he's setting us up for the most obscure one that we've heard so far? Because that's what I just got out of that, is that we qualified it 2 or 3 times before we actually get to the big reveal. So I am just waiting with bated breath here, Jay. I got to be honest with you.
I feel like we're going to be disappointed, and it's going to be like Joe Dirt or something.
Oh, no. The cheese in the movie is so much better than Joe Dirt.
Oh, man. What you got against Joe Dirt? What you got against Joe Dirt? I got 2 mics right here, man. Right, check 1, 2. They don't like no feedback.
No, I enjoyed Joe. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Joe Dirt. That was a funny movie. But the cheese of the sci-fi movie is just absolutely amazing. I mean, it was almost as bad as the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it was called Space Truckers.
Space Truckers. That is not on the list. I'm wondering if you didn't get your daily points that day, but Space Truckers, I have to Google this while you tell me why.
Actually, the last time I saw it was on YouTube's free movies.
Okay.
It's probably even still there.
Film from 1996. We got Dennis Hopper. Oh, Steven Dorff. Okay, Debbie Mazar. You've got a little bit of you've got some mid-tier stars here joining up with Dennis Hopper, who I think's an A-list for sure. I'm going to go and get a synopsis here. It says a space trucker and his cute fiance are on their way from a space station to Earth with an unknown cargo when space pirates hijack them. 5,000 disintegrator robots are found in the cargo. So, anything you want to add to that, Jay?
That's about what the movie's about. of the scenes where the love interest is with the captain of the space pirates is absolutely hilarious.
I am
one of those moments of what the hell did I just hear?
Yeah, dude, I am watching a trailer right now on mute, and I'm thinking, what the hell did I just watch? And it's not even over yet. Stephen Dorff looks like he was about 30 in this movie.
Right.
We've got some real Star Wars level 1970 CGI going on here.
Oh gosh.
Let's not forget, and I don't know if they've shown it yet, but let's not forget about the genetically modified pigs that are cubes.
Okay, I haven't seen those yet. I've seen Debbie Mazar in a bikini doing spin kicks. I'm not altogether upset about that.
What?
Giant Listen, I don't know how she got in the bikini on the spaceship. I'm not willing to ask at this point. I'm just going to accept it. We're here, so we might as well.
Not great radiation protection.
Well, if it's the scene I'm thinking, they're out lost in like an asteroid field, and they're not in the space lanes because again they've got this cargo that they don't know about. And they're just running from pretty much the space cops at that point. And so because they're in the asteroid, field, the ship gets damaged, and so there's no environmental control, so it's getting super hot, and so everybody decides to start stripping down.
What a good excuse to get the only female in the movie in a bikini.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, if it's the thing I'm thinking about, it's actually her bra and underwear that she's in, not even a bikini.
Hey, I'll take it.
To quote Harrison Ford here, I have a bad feeling about this.
You mentioned the old Super Mario Brothers movie when we first started talking about this, and now that I've seen the trailer, I totally understand why. It has a lot of the same feeling as far as like, what world are we even in here? You know, like
exactly. Exactly.
So I said it already. My opinion and 50 cents won't buy you a cup of coffee. I do, however, Jay, have to give you the award for the worst favorite movie out of the three.
I don't know about the worst movie out of being the favorite because there's another obscure Japanese, I think it was a Japanese manga that was tried to adapt to American film, and it was just horrible. Like the overacting, the bad directing, like everything was bad about it, but the concept's still pretty good. And it's called The Guyver.
The Guyver?
Yeah, Gheguiver. And it's about a race of superhumans that find out about this ancient alien DNA that's in everybody's body, and when they exploit it, they turn into these creatures. And so the Guyver, what it is, it's this biomechanical suit armor thing that's designed to protect everybody from these, from this evil race of hybrid alien human people.
Jay, who hurt you in a movie theater?
I haven't even seen this movie, and I want my money back.
Jay, I just want to know who hurt you in a movie theater when you were a kid, man. Like, what happened?
Again, like I said, my taste in movies is like my taste in music. Like, if I enjoy it, I'll watch it.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, we're talking about everything about, let's just say, fried green tomatoes and To Death Becomes Her to Star Trek,
my childhood.
Star Wars. Like, it's all over the place. And again, if I enjoy, I want to be entertained when I watch a movie.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Well, IMDb has Space Truckers rated as 5.4 out of 10. I feel like if I listen to you talk about it, that's a low score. I feel like after watching the trailer on mute, that is very generous. But it's just again,
how many Academy Awards did that one get nominated for?
Actually, it was like I said, it's obscure, so I don't even think it was nominated. I mean, it could have been one of those. I mean, it's a B-rated film.
Yeah, I think. It might have shown up on the Razzies, but I don't know that they were talking about it too much in the Oscar ceremony. But this is exactly why I wanted to have this movie, or this conversation about movies. I love this. I'm interested. I'm kind of a student of human nature in this point because I I just, when I see different titles, like, let's go through some of the other ones that are on the list that surprised me, okay? And I told you guys before, we've got a bona fide top 3 here, and we'll get to those in a minute. But there's one on here that kind of threw me, even though I know that's kind of a cult classic thing. All these movies are. But somebody answered the "what is your favorite movie" question by typing Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And
yes.
I don't know how old all of you guys are, but I'm assuming you're somewhere in the same age range that I am. And Pee-wee was big when I was a kid.
Yes, absolutely.
But what
Pee-wee's
the hell?
Playhouse was the shit.
Pee-wee's Playhouse, Big Top Pee-wee, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yeah, I saw them all.
Was that ever something you would have considered your favorite movie? It's a question I have for all three of you.
No. Like,
okay.
As much as I enjoy them, like, they're not, I wouldn't call them my favorite movies. It's just something probably anymore to kill time.
There you go.
Or just something in the background.
I watched it once.
Yeah, it's pretty much all you need with Pee-wee. Like, Pee-wee's got a little bit of staying power. You know, it's the same thing as, like, if Ernest Goes to Camp showed up on here, and you'd only ever
another amazing movie.
You said Pee-wee and staying power. Instantly, my brain went, not when he's in the theater.
Yeah, well, very true. Very true. Has a 0 on a score of 1 to 10 for staying power when he's sitting in a theater. I agree with you. You know, It showed up on here, and I don't know if this is the remake of It or if this is the old It, but either way, it's a movie about a murdering clown, and somebody said it was their favorite. Like, I don't get
murdering
it.
space demon.
Oh, it's
Stephen King. You know, anything Stephen King's going to be good anyway.
See,
and I mean, when you get Tim Curry playing Pennyworth, like, that was actually an amazing flick from the 80s. Pennywise, yeah.
I don't know. I think they should call him Pennyworth. I like Pennyworth better.
Leave Alfred alone.
Another one that showed up on here that I had never heard of before was Six Pack. Have you guys heard of Six Pack?
No.
Well, I did a little bit of research. So what I did with this list, just to try to find some more things to talk about, is I took the whole list and I pumped it into an AI chat bot, and I started asking it questions about the most critically acclaimed movies, the most viewed movies, the ones that did the best in the box office, and so on. And it did return some interesting info about Six Pack. I'm going to read you what it put here because I can't write this, all right? I'm not that good. It says, among the movies you've listed, Six Pack from 1982 appears to have received the least favorable critical reception. Starring Kenny Rogers as a race car driver who teams up with a group of orphans acting as his pit crew, the film holds a modest rating on Rotten Tomatoes. While some viewers appreciate its family-friendly themes and nostalgic value, others criticize it for its predictable plot and lack of depth. I would like to expand a little bit. He says a team of orphans. This is a team of orphans that steals cars, and then he makes them his racing team pit crew. Listen, Kenny Rogers should have stuck to chicken, okay, and music. There's a couple movies that he's in that are good. I'm not going to bash the guy altogether, but I'm kind of glad that I never gave Six Pack a chance after reading the synopsis from AI.
That sounds as bad as Abraham Vampire Hunter.
Hey.
Oh, you see, you got under somebody's skin. Somebody likes a vampire hunter.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was terrible but awesome.
Okay. Thank you for qualifying again.
I haven't watched it because I never, I'm like, yeah, that just sounds too bad to watch, but maybe I should check it out.
It was too bad to watch, and I've watched it like 30 some odd times.
Oh, God, man. Oh, God. You know, there's probably a rest stop along Interstate 80 somewhere where you could just stop and stare at the inside of a truck stop bathroom if you've got an hour and a half to kill. I mean, you don't have to watch a terrible movie. Come on now.
How did you know what I do in my 30s? Are you watching me?
I want to field this question to you guys before I do the big reveal here and tell you what movies came in. Actually, we have a tie for second and a solid first place. I should correct myself there. Matt, any guesses from you? Now, I want you to remember that we're talking about a group of truck drivers here. Do Do you have any guesses for what might have come in at the top of the list? As I said, only 3 movies got more than 1 vote, so this is going to be a tough one.
I would guess one of the terrible, overwrought, overlong Marvel movies.
You know, believe it or not, there is not a single Marvel movie that came back on this list. Not one of the good ones, not one of the bad ones, not a single Marvel movie. I was impressed, Matt. I didn't think it was possible.
I know. I'm proud of my fellow truckers. Very good, right?
All right. You want another guess real quick?
Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints. Who said that? Sorry.
I almost put Boondock Saints, but
you almost put Boondock Saints. You would have been the second driver to put Boondock Saints, which would have moved it into a tie for second place. Great movie.
Oh, nice.
Kind of a cult classic there a little bit.
Yes.
One of those ones that once you've seen it, you love it, but if you've not seen it, it might be one that you haven't heard of. Critically panned on release, but developed a major underground following, according to AI, thanks to home video. It's one of the textbook cult classics from the 90s is Boondock Saints. So
I saw it when it came out in 99 and watched the second one when it came out in 2009.
Got it. Okay. So that was that going to be your guess for one of the top 3?
It was, but thanks to me, it wasn't one of them.
All right.
Because I had to go with P.S. I love you.
Yeah, I know you did. We are, yeah. Trust me, we're coming back to that. Jay, what do you think, man? You got a guess?
If we're talking about a bunch of truck drivers, especially veteran drivers, I'm going to say either Convoy or Smokey and the Bandit.
Both on the list, but neither one of them made it to the top. Yeah, actually, that's wrong. Convoy is not on the list. Only Smokey and the Bandit is on the list. That is kind of surprising when you think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, what other movie is that synonymous with trucking other than Convoy and Smokey and the Bandit? Like, those are the two that everybody talks about.
Chuck Norris. I'm trying to remember. I think the name of the movie was 10-4.
Oh, okay. Well, if it had Chuck Norris, it's good. I mean, that's a rule of the 90s, right?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that was actually, I think, an 80s or even a late 70s flick, even.
Well, he's got staying power. That guy. You know, he's unlike Pee-wee in a theater. All right, guys.
I'm regretting making that joke.
Well, listen, I thought I had a drum roll here queued up on my button bar, but as normal, I am slightly unprepared. So we're just going to give them applause afterwards. Coming in a tie for second place with 2 votes is not surprising whatsoever, especially from the group of guys that we have. There's a lot of veterans in the crowd, and Full Metal Jacket comes in at tie for second place. R. Lee Ermey, and some of the greatest performances in a military movie that doesn't have to do with a lot of military battles. Like, this is about the battle fought at boot camp, and with Private Pile and the whole lot. Super intense movie.
D'Onofrio did amazing as Pile. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was
absolutely
unhinged in a way that you very rarely see on a movie screen. A way that I remember the first time feeling like uncomfortable because of how off his rocker he was.
For such a down-to-earth guy, he plays unhinged way too well.
He really does.
It causes questions.
He really does. Maybe he's just that good of an actor. Coming in at number 2 here, and again, not really surprising. What is surprising about it is that there weren't more Westerns on this list to begin with, but coming in with 2 votes and a tie for second place is Tombstone.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
You can't argue with a good all-star cast like that either.
You can.
That was an amazing movie. I love that movie.
And one of those movies where,
Kilmer.
Yeah, R.I.P. Val Kilmer, I'm Your Huckleberry. One of those movies where if you've never seen a Western before and you're curious as to what you get out of a Western, this is the movie that you want to show somebody. Even though it's older, it still stands up. It holds the test of time. As we say, R.I.P. and peace to Val Kilmer. He was great, and also the only actor featured in more than one of our top 3 movies, as he played a very important part in Tombstone, and he played the iconic wingman that is known as Iceman in our number 1 movie, receiving 3 votes, which is Top Gun. Call it 4. because I'm putting my hat in the ring for Top Gun as well. I know it's the most bearded white guy take I could have, but I fucking love this movie. I've seen Top Gun more times than I can count. The soundtrack, the action, the actual jets. I've always been a fighter plane lover as a kid. I went to an air show and I got to sit in a fighter jet and wear the helmet and everything, and I was in love from there on out. And I'll tell you, Top Gun, one of my favorite all-time movies, maybe even my number one favorite all-time movie. And I have to be honest with you, I thought they did a really good job on the second one. I was going in expecting garbage because most sequels and most remakes that we're getting now are garbage.
Oh, yeah.
But I really enjoyed the second Top Gun, and it's just one man's opinion. I think it deserves its spot on the top of the list. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
You a big fan?
Absolutely.
I've never even watched it once.
Oh, you're kidding me. You're out here with space truckers and you're telling me you've never seen Top Gun?
I have not. I've also never seen Space Truckers. That
was Jay's choice,
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry. I got you guys
I'm
mixed up.
P.S. I love you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
straight.
same question. Just replace the words. You've never seen Top... Now, I used to work...
No.
This is a funny story. I used to work at Applebee's when I was in college, a little side gig. I was an Apple buddy. And had these other two guys that worked with me out on the floor that were younger than me. And they always were, asking me questions like... They were like 18, 19, fresh out of high school, and I was like in my mid-20s. So to them, I was grown up. To myself, I was just completely lost. But to them, I had knowledge. And we got into a discussion about good movies one day, and they were doing the typical just out of high school thing of listing every terrible movie that I've ever seen as one of their favorite. And I said, they go, okay, old man, what do you think's good? And I said, Top Gun. And they both looked at me with a blank stare, and they said, we've got no idea. And I said, all right, you think I'm a grown-up, you think I'm a man, and that's what you want to be. Well, give me your goddamn man card, and I am keeping it hostage until you go watch Top Gun. And I did a ceremonial taking of their fake man cards right in front of the whole restaurant, and I put them in my pocket, and every day at work until they watched the movie, I asked them if they'd seen it and refused to give them their man card back. I made 2 Top Gun fans out of both of those guys, and they both were happy to receive their non-existent man cards back. So I'll be honest with you, Duncan, or Donut, sorry, I'm close to taking your hypothetical man card right now. I mean, this is one of those movies that you just have to see.
Okay. So let's try one more movie. Maybe he can keep that card. How about Iron Eagle?
Iron Eagle? That was kind of like the competitor to Top Gun in the day?
Yeah, it was more of the kids' version.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not
but it was an amazing movie with amazing music. Like, it was just as good as Top Gun, I thought.
So y'all gotta understand that most of my movie watching as a kid was done with my grandfather, who had been an Air Force mechanic. If it had planes, he avoided it.
Ah, okay. You're Days of Thunder guy, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You can keep your man card for now, okay? But
and damn near everything John Wayne or Clint Eastwood has done. Gran Torino was one of our favorite movies. Shane watched it all the time.
Okay.
In fact, if I have, we've talked about it at the household. If we have a son, we actually want to name him Alan for Alan Ladd, the guy who played Shane in the original movie.
Okay. All right. So you've got a tentative grasp on your man card. I will allow you to keep it, mainly because Days of Thunder, yes, all the Westerns, all of the John Wayne, all the Clint Eastwood, that stuff all counts. And you do a job that I could never do, so let's be honest. I have no business taking your man card away from you. It was easy to do to a couple waiters at Applebee's, but, a truck driver, probably not so much. So, all right, fellas. Well, this has been a real fun conversation. I'm so interested. We could probably talk about this with 50 other drivers for 50 more hours, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation. It's a subjective conversation. Everybody's going to have an opinion, and at the end of the day, all of us are wrong when you bring in a fourth guy. So thank you guys for setting up for this one. It's kind of a tough one to come in. I knew we were going to get to laugh. I knew we were going to get to have some fun. But you also kind of have to lay yourself bare, as you see, Donut did that, and we whipped him up a little bit for P.S. I Love You. Not going to lie. But hey, You picked P.S. I Love You, got beat up a little bit, and then Jay comes in with Space Truckers. So listen, there's always somebody else out there that will take the spotlight off of you, okay? But I want to clear some space here for final thoughts, guys, just like we always do before I let you go. Gonna start out with you today, Matt. A little bit of trouble with the tandems today, but hope the podcast was able to maybe turn your day around a little bit. Anything for us before we let you go, Matt MacKellar?
Yeah, definitely good to have some laughs. And speaking of which, that's my other type of movie, are funny movies, like laughing is a good emotion. So I just got to give a shout out to my boy, The Grinch. The Jim Carrey version is the best one. I make my girlfriend watch it every Christmas, a tradition she hates. And I quote from it, one Christmas I got a copy of it on Blu-ray and DVD as a gift from two different people. So.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yep. Okay. I love a good comedy movie. I have a 10-foot canvas Step Brothers movie poster, like one of the ones that they would put up on the wall in the theater. Somebody gifted it to me years ago as just a gag gift, and I hang it from my tailgate tent at every Oregon Ducks game that we tailgate at. I love that movie. I hesitate to call it my favorite, but a good comedy, Matt. There's nothing better than a good comedy. You never feel as good as you do walking out of a Will Ferrell movie in the theater. You know what I'm saying?
Jim Carrey, bite your tongue.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is great, yeah. Plus, I want to live where the Grinch lives, up there in his little lair. That's a pretty awesome spot.
Yeah, keep people away, right?
Yeah, and have your cool junk.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Matt MacKellar, we appreciate the time, my friend. Thanks for being here today.
Sure, glad to be here. Thanks for asking.
No problem. Mikal Duncan, final thoughts from you, my friend. You want to sell us on P.S. I Love You one more time? I'm guessing there's a few people that haven't seen it that are going to go watch it now that you've talked about it a bit.
I hope so. I enjoy it. It's a good movie. I don't want to sell anybody on it. If that's not your cup of tea, that's fine. I bounce all over the place. So my grandpa, who was into all those westerns and stuff, my whole family was surprised when he bought Phantom of the Opera with Gerard Butler and watched that movie like 1,000 times. We're all just sitting there like, hold on a minute. Clint Eastwood, Shane, John Wayne, Phantom of the Opera. What?
Hey, everybody's got to have their tour de force in there somewhere, right? You just never know what it's going to be.
Yeah, and before he passed away, one of the last movies we watched together was Gran Torino, which he absolutely loved it. He's like, with all the kids,
an amazing movie.
It is.
With all the kids in your generation, this movie's gonna get canceled quick. And I said, not by me, it won't.
That's awesome.
It's real.
It is.
That's how people are.
Another one of those movies that makes you feel some feelings. No question about it. I remember the first time watching that one, and yeah, I think it's a really good movie, but also it'll bring the emotions out of you in a different way for different reasons, and always got to love that, man. And you know what? If your grandpa liked a little bit of a guilty pleasure with the Gerard Butler Phantom of the Opera, that's fine. We all deserve a guilty pleasure movie. Mine is Congo. Everybody likes to tell me that that's a terrible movie. I've read the book, Michael Crichton, great book. They take some liberties in that movie that are just blindly stupid, but it's a guilty pleasure. Like, I like it. I know there's a talking ape in this thing with a glove on, like a Nintendo Power Glove that gives her speech. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know why. They don't have that in the book, just so you guys know. The ape just knows sign language.
Right.
Okay, so Duncan, why do I keep wanting to call you Duncan? It's Donut. I think the whole Dunkin' Donuts thing has got me, Donut, but
it is his last name.
It is. It's true. Not going to offend him if I call him Duncan, or if I call you Duncan, it's not like that bad, right, I hope?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because you're saying it right. You're not trying to add some random apostrophe. That's actually how we got to Donut.
Oh, really?
It was because my last name is Duncan, and everybody tries to say it Duncan. And I've been called Dunkin' Donuts my whole life.
Okay, I get it.
My wife's uncle, he knew this. It's a whole thing, and that's how I got to be Donut. I'm just like, screw it, I'm leaning in.
Good on you, man. Sometimes if you can't beat them, join them. That's a great philosophy on life. Jay Defoor, your first time on the podcast, man. We'll get your final thoughts in just a second. But for other drivers who are out there right now listening to this podcast and thinking, I think I might want to go on there one day. How was your first ever experience here on the Liquid Trucking Podcast?
Oh, this has been an absolute blast. I'd love to do this again.
Perfect. Well, anybody listening, it was real simple. Actually, Donut connected you and I. It's just one phone call, and we'll get it set up, and then bang, we're here doing a podcast. So I really appreciate you volunteering to come on today, Jay, and fill out the room a little bit more. Do you have any final thoughts for us before we let you go?
Yeah, if we want to do a good holiday movie like everybody, like The Grinch, I was thinking about it, like, yeah, Home Alone's fun, but in all honesty, I will always, always, in my heart, have a special place for A Christmas Story.
Yep, that's a good one. You're going to shoot your eye out.
A lot of people don't like that movie. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people hate that movie. I'm like, why? This is an absolutely awesome movie.
And
it's great. It's clean. It's simple. It's amazing.
And it has a lifetime lesson moment in it that still holds up today, and that's licking the flagpole, right?
Standing up to the bully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's a good one. I also, since you're talking holiday movies, I'm going to go ahead and submit for your approval The Santa Claus, the original with Tim Allen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
One of my all-time favorites. Try to get him to watch it every year. Elf is another one that's just a feel-good movie. I know some people really dislike Elf, but I'll take it, man, over Christmas for sure. Well, fellas, listen, I've kept you here for almost an hour. We could talk about movies for a lot longer, and maybe we'll bring it back and talk about it again. Matt, Michael, and Jay, thank you all for being here today. Appreciate the time. Be safe out there. We'll get you all back on here again later, all right?
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
See you later.
And huge thanks to Matt, Jay, and Michael. What a fun conversation. The hot dogs on the back of my neck are hurting a little bit because we were laughing so hard in that segment. I can't tell you guys how much fun it is to just feel like there's four of us just sitting around a coffee table, drinking a beer and just chatting. It's almost more like a garage conversation or like a shop conversation. You got a TV in the corner, NASCAR's on. You got a guy in the back, he's changing an oil filter, and you got two dudes just sitting on an old beat-up couch drinking Miller Lite, and we're just talking about what our favorite movies are and why this movie sucks and why I like that one. I can't get enough of it, and we are always welcoming drivers on. What a fun one for Jay to have as his first ever Liquid Trucking podcast appearance. We can do that for you too. If you're out there listening right now and you think it sounds fun, Jay just gave us the stamp of approval. He will be coming back for more, and that's what we typically see. There's a little bit of nerves, man, and I get it. This isn't something that everybody does. I have a very unique job. I have a very unique set of expectations here for me, and I'm comfortable with it, okay? It's something that I do. It's something I've done for my entire career professionally. So, but it makes sense if you've never been on a podcast before, you've never been on a radio show, you never called into one, you've never, jumped on to a big stream and ended up being featured on the stream for whatever reason as a guest. It makes sense that you might have a few nerves before you do something like this. If you call me, you have a small conversation with me before you go on, I guarantee you I can put those nerves to rest. And if nothing else, we'll give you a fun experience, have you come in and at least check it out. The other thing I'm more than happy to do, guys, if you want to come in on one of these conversations and just be a fly on the wall, you just want to sit here and listen in while we record it to see what it's like, you can give me a call and I can set that up for you. It's not tough to do. And if it means that maybe you're going to come on the podcast at a later date, I'd be more than happy to get you on. We're always looking for drivers. So don't forget to shoot me an email if you've got a suggestion or you just want to come on the show, podcast@liquidtrucking.com, or you can call me on my phone number if you have it. If you know any of the guys that frequent this program, they've all got my number, so give them a call. Anybody from the Teenage Hotline, anybody out at Bartow, they've all got my number out at Bartow. You got Mike Stanfield, you got Polar Bear, he'll give it to you. Mikal Duncan, Matt MacKellar, now Jay Defoor. There's a lot of guys out there that have my number and can get a hold of me, so I've never said that before, and I just realized how strange it was for me to tell you there's a lot of guys that got my number, big boy. But it's, I say, it's like, I'm comfortable with this. I'll just sit at a microphone and talk, and whatever comes out, I'll be happy with. Yay. That's my life, but I'm glad to share it with you. Thank you guys all for being here today. Episode 74 was a success. Maybe we've got more movies to talk about. I would like to hear some feedback from you guys on what you thought about the movies that we talked about. Do you think Top Gun deserves its spot at the top of the list? You're going to have to go through me to get it off of there, but I would listen to the arguments. Tombstone, Full Metal Jacket, some pretty good selections coming in as favorites. But then we're not going to let Jay or Michael off the hook for P.S. I Love You and Space Truckers. It was a really fun one today. Appreciate everybody that sent in their favorite movies. If you want to talk about it, have another conversation coming up, we can do that. Podcast at liquidtrucking.com. That's it for episode 74 of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. I've been your host, Marcus. You've been awesome as always. We will see you next week when we're going to talk about debating again a little. The second edition of the Great Debates coming up. I wonder what we'll be fighting about. Stay tuned, and you'll find out next week on the Liquid Trucking Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.